What up, Lex? How's it going, my guy? I'm just hanging out over here late night. Got some alpha. Got some ideas running through my head. I was just kind of thinking about sparking up a chat and seeing who shows up. So yeah, feel free to come on up if you want to talk. But I'm just gonna kind of hang. Um, what I really was hoping for was to share a little bit about some two emoji combos, and then secondary to that, kind of had some ideas on well, we just had the space with Satoshi, test not Satoshi, and I've just put in a kind of a draft proposal for ENS DAO today, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that. Hey, what's up, Slán? How's it going? Um, hey, Lex.
What's going on, man? Yeah, that sounds cool. I didn't get into any spaces today, but kind of like trying to get out a little bit today. Went for a long ass bike ride. And any talk on the D3? That looks pretty cool. The just the messaging from one ENS to another.
Oh, there's been that one that you said. Did you say D3? I'm not familiar with
Yeah,
that,
that's
but I know.
yeah. Let me send it to you. Hold on.
Nice. Yeah, I've known about like block chat, and I've the only one I've really used is the one at slovo.eth nifty chat nifty chat.xyz nifty chat without an I.
Yeah. So this one, DM3, decentralized messaging for Web3. TM3 is now live. It's secure, decentralized, and open source communication service based on ENS domain. Send and receive messages with your ENS address. And their site, I went through their site and everything looks really tight. Here, you can pin it if you want.
Dope.
Let me send this to you.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh wow, that's super cool. Yeah, feel free to pin it yourself if you like to.
Okay.
Uh, what's up, Slán? How you doing? It's all right if you can't join us, Slán. So Slán's artist and partner in the 100K club. So she's a friend. She's awesome. But yeah, let's see here. So Lex, I think it must have been you who introduced me to the whole super world concept and everything, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had it was like one of these like I think it was last month or something, one of these crazy right before your wife gave birth. It was on that one night. Uh,
Oh my god, that's
yeah,
crazy.
we were like, who else was ENS Punks or I'm not sure who it was. It was a pretty crazy group. We went into like 5:30 a.m. But yeah, there was so much information, so many people connected that night or that morning, should I say. But yeah, Superworld is I've been an advocate of them for a little bit, and I have like over 150 anchors now, AR, in the last couple of months, mostly ENSs. But yeah, and I'm definitely pushing whenever I can, for them to start doing the sign in with ENS. So whenever I can, whenever I have been able to talk with them, just on my own stuff, just like, hey, this will be cool and this will be cool. And they're up for it. They're up for it. So I would love to sign into Superworld with my ENS, and
Dude,
that would be so
ima-
dope.
imagine being gated out of places within super worlds based on your ENS. Like that's the craziest thing. I mean, well, super world is more of a physical IRL space. Like you're gonna be able to go where you go physically or
Hmm.
whatever. But this idea of taking your metaverse identity in a non IRL correlated space,
Right, right.
it, that would be very interesting to use ENS subdomains and stuff to kind of gate access to locations within the metaverse. I hadn't really, even though it's super obvious, I hadn't thought about gating 3D meta space. That's fun.
So I don't know if you caught on to a little bit what I do. So um, I like to hit the levels. where it's like, and I know most people on Instagram don't get it. They didn't get it when I was posting stuff about crypto in 2016, 2017, and but it's cool. That's what I use Web 2 for, documentation. Because I get it. If you're not dancing in front of a mirror and you got boobs, you're not getting the engagement. I get it. And for those who are, awesome, more power to you. But I use totally Web 2, for documentation. I can go back to a certain date, a certain time, be like, aha, look, there it was. We posted that. That was the conversation. So what I like to do is through Superworld as well is I like taking, for instance, let's say you've been to South Point. Have you ever been to South Point Pier in South Beach?
I don't think so, man. No.
Okay, so next time you and your family, your extended family, come down, definitely come down to South Point. There's this beautiful pier that used to be kind of raggedy. We used to like International Skipping Day. We used to jump off of it, and we were so much more scared of the barracudas in the water than the cops. But either way, they were both waiting for us when we did jump. They redid the pier. It's beautiful. So I have that. Like that's kind of like sentimental, so I have that. I have that whole pier in Superworld. And so what I'm trying to do this weekend is, which I've done with a couple of other places that I get, is that I'm gonna go ahead and anchor, you know, my ENS that I have describing that pier, South Point Pier, right? I'm gonna anchor that, you know, because it is an NFT. So I'm anchoring that NFT within the virtual real estate NFT, you know. So it's like this trifecta, and I love doing that. And I love like just taking all the different, like it's an NFT within an NFT, you know. And it's, I know I have a lot of DMs and questions like, what are you doing and why is that and what is, what do you. And I like that because you're making people think and be like, okay, I don't get it. Like, cool. Here's why.
And you're like, yeah, if people think they're early on ENS, you're just early on a whole new level. But the thing is, you're not so early that it's not going to come, rapidly. It's still going to come rapidly. And what you're actually doing by calling everyone's attention, like you got me going on this now, and I like it was with that one image of the anchored ENS in front of the statue, and then I started thinking about Doge Party NFTs because I host for Doge Party on Mondays. Um, there's it's very affordable to mint assets on Doge Party, like one Doge, and to make a dispenser. Um, and now with Extra.network, we can geocache assets using Extra.network. So the thought of connecting these two things, like the metaverse space, in Super World with the Doge Party, with the efficiency of Doge Party. But I mean, that's kind of a wonky bridge to build, and so it's a little crazy. But that's where I was going. I was trying to scale it out. What do you think about that? I mean, maybe layer two will just give us the
I
scalability that we want.
I like the whole geocache because I mean I was geocaching with just like, I think on the verge of smartphones, right? One of the first apps I downloaded, I think on an Android phone was a geocache. I was like, oh, because I was into geocaches before phones. I mean, how nerdy is that, right? But when I saw the first app and anywhere I went, anywhere I traveled, I was like, oh, is there a geocache around here? And then people started like kind of like, booby trapping geocaches. So it started to get a little scary.
Oh
Um,
shit, that's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Where you can get like a fucking like a rat trap, or you could get electrocuted, or people have a different idea of fun, as we know, and you go from kids if you don't if you don't let that come out, it just becomes now you have more money to do bigger things, right? But I love the idea of geocaching, and that's how I feel. I think we click on so many levels with this kind of stuff because that's how I feel when I anchor, right? Because I've messed around with other AR platforms and they have really amazing like tools and you can make things spin around and interactivity, but they don't geocache, they don't geopin, which is stupid important. Because what's the point of doing something if a third party can discover it, right? Because then again, then it just ends up as like a little doggy nose on a girl on her filter on her phone. Because if somebody else can't come along and discover it, then it's not really there, is it? You know?
If a tree falls in the woods, kind of a thing. It's you're
R-
right.
Right, and that's why Niantic is just so like Michael Jordan on this, right? Because they make people out there. They make people go look. Like I don't know if we spoke about this, but like they're knocking on the doors of all worlds. Like they teamed up with the NBA, which I haven't been a gamer in years. Castlevania was my last like run, but it's like they I mean, for people who play like Call of Duty and like these NBA games and all this stuff, like now you're gonna be playing these NBA games, and all of a sudden your player is tired and he's not jumping high, and he's not doesn't have the same strength. Well, now you're gonna leave your home, you leave your studio, gonna go to the nearest shoe sneaker store, and you have to zap the code on the sneaker, and it's connected now to the game, and you go back and you play the game, and now your player has all this new energy and assets. That's Niantic for you, right? And now if you buy the shoe, now you have like this like whatever power level. Like that's that's some, I would say that's other level, but that's like kind of like, okay guys, is this metaverse thing real? Oh yeah, you've been doing it for the last year.
Whoa, dude, you just kind of for the first time unlocked to me like the first glimpse of the Ready Player One sort of experience, like the idea of buying a pair of shoes in real life that you can
Yes.
scan that do give your
Right.
metaverse character more
It's called
functionality.
it's called All Worlds, right?
Mm.
And it's interesting, right? Because I know Niantic has a good relationship with Superworld. Because if these two titans ever get together, yeah, man, it's gonna be super dope. No, but yeah, you're right? Because everyone uses that movie now as that, right? I'm wondering what the I know I've glanced at the second book, but I'm wondering how that movie, because always Hollywood changes things up, how much of crypto or metaverse or certain things we want them to speak about, how much they'll use in that. But look, people are doing it with Gucci, and people are doing it with certain designer bags. Where there's this whole I'm not sure if you're a sneakerhead, but sneakerheads. I mean, there's an entire like YouTubes and TikToks and everything about people taking their kicks to a place and they check them to see if they're real or not. Like people are spending, thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars on sneakers, and they don't know if they're real or not. So the person goes, checks them, they smell them. I love it. There's this one girl that she's awesome at this. She
Smell them.
smells them. Yeah, it has to have that. Nike has to have that smell. The Jordans have to have that smell, which is so intelligent, right? And she checks everything, and then she does this little code scanner, and she's like, yeah man, they're real. Or like she'll tell them, sorry man, these are not. you know so I know there's just designer bags now that are, I'm not sure if it's Gucci, I'm not sure who, but that there's an NFT that comes with it. So for someone to say, oh, your bag is not real, is like, no, it is, because here I have my NFT to prove it. So that's interesting, where we are using real world assets to show the provenance of why this is real in the real world. Like, so vice versa, digital assets to prove that real world things are real. People
Whoa.
keep asking, when is the metaverse coming? It's like, yo, homie, like look in your rearview mirror, you know?
So I had this idea today. The other day, I was talking with this Bitcoin mining guy. This guy was talking about how he's doing. Um, they purchased this hydro electric plant in Idaho where they're going to be doing some Bitcoin mining and scale there. And I'm like, okay, all right. Like I see the project. They're partners with some people I trust. So I'm like, dang, that's pretty impressive, guys. Um, But I started talking to him about ENS and using ENS to fill out the Bitcoin field in the record for their and using subdomains to organize their farm and their whole franchise. So you think about them going out and saying, okay, we've got 5 different mining locations. Those can each be a subdomain. And then we've got, different racks or different types of miners, and those can be on subs. And so there's just so many ways to imagine, like, and those, all of that can happen um, and route Bitcoin transactions potentially, without having to like change that Bitcoin out of Bitcoin, never having to leave the Bitcoin blockchain. Like that's the coolest part to me. Cause I was talking to these guys, I was like, how are you gonna pay out your rewards? Because they launched an NFT on Ethereum and they're mining Bitcoin. And I'm like, so how are you gonna pay out these rewards to your Ethereum token holders, based on their percentage ownership in the mining? Are you going to convert the Bitcoin to wrapped Bitcoin? Are you gonna transfer it through a custodial exchange? Like, what are you gonna do? And they're like, shit, we hadn't really thought the specifics on this. And I was like, well, why don't you think about this solution? Like, why don't you adopt ENS this way, so that you can, have your users give them a subdomain that correlates to their Bitcoin address, and then just pay them out directly to their Bitcoin address, but do it through their ENS handle.
And what was the how did they feel about? Because
Oh, they're stoked. They love the
yeah.
idea. Yeah, they
Well,
bought. They bought. It was Hydro Hippos. They bought hydrohippos.eth right there on the spot while I was talking to him, and we're talking talks about kind of how to what to do
I'm
next
sure
with
they
it.
also bought the .btc, right?
Well, that's a good question. Actually, they probably should, but I don't really know.
Right.
Are people using the .btc, or is that kind of more of a
No, but I'll be honest with you, and especially being here in Miami, it's like not to whip out the label gun or anything, but um the BTC maxis just feel like nothing else can represent Bitcoin but Bitcoin, right?
that's good
So
shit. Okay.
and it's crazy because I can go to I don't socialize as much after lockdown, but I'm little by little coming back into crowds, catching a baseball game, doing different little things, on my own. And even the smaller novice Web3 stuff that happens here in Miami, I go to it just to see like how what people are talking about and how are they talking about it and how the audience participates. And it's, for what it's worth, put our experience aside, put our egos aside. Everybody has their entrance, everybody has their first day, their moment. And it's kind of cool sometimes. Sometimes it gets boring because it's like, okay, I want somebody to shake my fucking imagination today. And but when I've gone to BTC and I've been to many, over the years, very little do I ever hear about like the way I hear when I when you got Ethereum people in the room or you just got blockchain people in the room. Like we're actually talking about, the word utility has been spread so thin, but I'm talking about utility and just functionality and just like, making shit work, like, or making things work in ways that we didn't know it could work. And I like that because there's the geek in me, there's the tech guy in me, there's the all that in me that still is like, oh, cool. But for some reason the BTC crowd is all about, yeah, no, I got a Bitcoin and I got it at this price at this time. Okay, and then what? Okay, but there has to be more than that. It's not just like, okay, yeah, I got, 3 bars of gold tucked somewhere in my basement. Okay, but there needs to be more than that. There has to be more than that you're into this. But for a lot of people, that's the all it is, you know. And that's why I like, how the original trash artist, the original pixel artist, the original NFT artists, they actually minted their first, crypto art on BTC, and I like to hear those stories, those functionality stories, because there's probably so much more you can do with Bitcoin than just say, oh, I own this many Satoshis. You know what I mean?
How do you access the What's up, Batshit Ape? How do you access the BTC, the .btc domain registration service? Is it just um, because
Is it
I'm having a hard.
unstoppable? Unstoppable?
Oh, so that's what everyone.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, as
That's what
far as I know, you know what I mean? Let me see. Unstoppable.
I would assume that was something where I could. I mean, where I could use my like you'd have to hook up your Bitcoin wallet because I'm not familiar with Unstoppable. I know everyone's been talking about Unstoppable and the dot cryptos and the different but is it we're not interested in dot Bitcoin. We're interested in dot BTC. So I think that Unstoppable is
Right,
probably not what we're looking for.
right. So here, I gotta switch computers. Um, so yeah, so you can get dot Bitcoin on on Unstoppable. Right.
I've definitely seen these dot BTCs. Those must just be the old name coins. So that's probably what it is that you if you can get onto Namecoin, you could probably still register with some
Mm.
NMC. Like I have some dot bits. And I don't know if there's a subtle nuance difference between the dot bits and the dot BTCs. There might be. There must be. It must be the dot BTCs are the Namecoin type, representation, the Namecoin wrapper uh, on.
BTC domains are registered through a smart contract on stacks secured by Bitcoin. This smart contract implements a decentralized name registry written in Clarity language. Ownership of every BTC name is represented in a hash of the Bitcoin blockchain, April 2022. So, yeah, there's a way.
How did you find that? X, what domain are you on?
I just did a quick search and it was one of the first. I put .btc space domains and it was one of the first articles to come up, which is a nichemarket.co.za article. Niche market.
All right, let me try it again. Niche market.
.co.za.
Okay, hopefully I'll get something here.
Yeah,
Yeah, what
I didn't go to the actual article, so be careful of the domain. But let me see if I go there. Yeah, it looks.
what are Bitcoin domains? Niche
Yeah,
market. I have.
exactly. Looking
Okay,
for a Bitcoin domain.
those are dot Bitcoin TLDs. Is there anything here that's talking about dot BTC? Because I know I've seen these dot BTCs around. I know I've seen those.
So right, so
Yeah,
the the
got it.
index of that article, right, is it says BTC domains, right? So there's BTC.us. No, that's not BTC.
Yeah, I gotta look in. I really gotta explore this right down to the heart of it because
Hmm.
I hold a couple 2012. Um, two I hold faded dot bit or d slash faded and d slash ducky. And
Nice.
I don't know what I can. I think there's some utility with them. I mean, I think I can like still use them and stuff, but I got to figure out what to do with those.
Hmm. So, did you how much intel did they give you with those? How are they cooling? Are they using
They're
that
liquid cooled.
technology? Oh, okay, they're liquid cooling, so they're using the power. What are they using for power?
They've purchased an old hydroelectric, um, plant in
Right.
Twin Falls, Idaho, and so it's off grid, right? So it's like been separated from the grid, and so they retrofitted that apparently, and then I don't know. I mean,
Hmm,
that's the whole
interesting.
plan is to just remain off grid, just to be just on the hydroelectric plant is just running, running the miners at all times. So they're generating like many megawatts, and their plan here is to just grow and grow. So I don't know
Right.
though. I mean, I got to
Trying to get.
see more video evidence of the facility and stuff. Like I know that we had a
Yeah.
lot of rug pull scams and things on this in this vein in 2017 when I was first entering the
Oh
crypto
yeah.
space. So I'm
Oh
kind of
yeah.
skeptical. I'm like, show me
So
the
back
money.
then, yeah, there were so many companies that were offering to get for X amount of money you'll have X amount of BTC thrown at you because these miners are going to be going all day, and then at that point you learned really quickly they were like, okay, if I invest, let's say 5K back then for one of these, like, because you would literally pay for your own miner, but it's just housed somewhere else.
Yeah, it was
And it's like,
cloud mining, man. That was a thing, man.
well, there was cloud
Is.
mining, right? Which is just you're getting a percentage of a pool, but then there was like the actual, you were buying one of the miners, and
Okay,
then
okay.
they would house it, power it, and then you can monitor, like you can, you know, remote in and see the actual data on your particular miner, and then you would get, they get their percentage, you get your percentage, and then what's funny is that it's like, well, okay, for that same amount of money, because that was like 5K, that for that same amount of money, you could have literally bought BTC at that time, So, it was an interesting time, like you said, right on 2017, right? Because
Yeah,
it
and
was like, yeah.
I got into some crap like that. I was mining ETH, and so like actually my old hashes and stuff. It's hilarious, and just hilarious actually. I was mining Bitcoin, and I was like registering. I was like buying all these shit coins, just like there was
Hmm.
just so
Hmm.
much of that on Twitter and stuff. Send 0.001 ETH to this address and mint, a
Hmm.
hundred
Oh my
thousand
God.
like shit coin, like real
Yeah,
shit
yeah,
coins
yeah.
that Etherscan doesn't even recognize because they're just like
Hmm.
somebody just minted it out. And anyway, so I just like I got all these shit coins. I was just like interested in this is some of my first transactions I was really doing on chain. I was just mining and had this Ethereum, like what do you do with this shit? There wasn't much you could do with it, to be honest. Uh,
Right.
so it was like anything that you could do was kind of fun. It's like why not do that? So I was like doing all this stuff, um, with the shit coins, and then I'm also mining this ETH, and I'm freaking putting it into a couple of Ponzi scheme cloud mining services, which is actually the ultimate irony to describe it back because actually GPU mined ETH and then like send it into freaking probably presumably I must have sent it to a centralized exchange like Binance probably at the time or Coinbase or something, and I would have swapped it into Bitcoin and then or like swapped it on the atomic swaps on Exodus wallet or something, and then I would have sent it that Bitcoin into this this crappy Ponzi scheme alleged cloud mining thing. I can't remember. It was called Miner Farm. I even made a video or two about it. It's called Miner Farm. Anyway,
Wow.
it was a piece of crap scam, and I ended
Yeah.
up and I didn't put a lot of resources into the miner farm thing. I was actually kind of gaming them. That's what my videos were about. I was like, I don't believe that this is genuine. I was like, I think that
Right.
this might be a scam, and so I uh, started toggling on different VPNs and creating many accounts because you could create
Hmm.
like two or three free accounts or whatever, and you could like
Wow.
have them mine. You just had to log in every like 5 days or something. So I had this spreadsheet going, and I just was testing it. And in the meantime, I didn't really harvest anything from that, but I had been harvesting, I had made withdrawals from it. So I was like, okay, this is definitely, you can withdraw from this. It could definitely be a Ponzi scheme, but
Hmm.
there is a way to withdraw from it. So I was making some withdrawals at least, but then the music stopped and it sucked because I was
Wow.
kind of growing my rigs, dude. They built this shit so cool. It was like a game, it was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh, get
yeah.
these miners and those.
But
But
that's
like,
part of the plan.
what a
Yeah, that's
fucking
part.
idiot.
That's the part of the plan. You got to the boss level.
The boss level is that rug. They just
You know what I mean? Yeah,
came
that's
in.
the boss. That's the boss level. Because remember the old kung fu game? You know what I mean? Uh,
I'm
so
still
it's
trying to beat
interesting.
that boss.
Yeah, yeah. So it's funny because I tried to, talk out a lot of friends, but they were so committed, invested, that they felt like if they got out now, they would really lose money, right? So I was like, man, listen, that doesn't work that way. Da, 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 da. And it was almost like doing that is what said, okay, let me do it for real, right? And then I got my rig together, and it was just so like it was so kind of like, okay, do I go AMD or do I go Nvidia? And it was like had to study all the scripts and be like, okay, if I get if I create it with these cards, I could only mine this, and this. But if I make it with these cards, I can mine only this, and that. And I had to like really break my head because at that time, I don't know if we covered this, but at that time, it was like the gamers were like kind of like protesting. They were like, "Hey, all these guys are, you know, we can't get." I'm, oh my god, it was so many hate forums. Like we
Mm.
can't get these type of cards because these crypto guys are using them for this. You shouldn't sell it to them, and Nvidia and AMD are like, oh, listen, these guys are buying seven at a time, six at a time for 2,500 each. So it got to a point that they would only sell it per email. So one
Yeah.
email gets one. So I mean, shit, I've been stacking domains since the 90s. So I was like, oh, you want more than one email? Okay, no problem.
I got you.
Rah! You know what I mean? And it's like, oh my god, freaking from places you would never think, like Walmart was like has its own online like gaming like distributor, like crazy shit. So I went with Nvidia, and it was like,
Going with that quality.
yeah, no, and it was just like, okay, so with that one, I was able to get right off the bat, it was like Bitcoin Gold, right? So I started mining Bitcoin Gold, da, 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 and then that thing had a 51% attack. So I was like, oh shit, all right. So I went and I did Ethereum Classic for a little bit, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, man, you know what? And then everything I read, it was like, okay, you shouldn't like mine Ethereum. It's not gonna work with if it's not Linux. It's not gonna work with Windows. Blah 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 blah. And for a long time, I was like, no. And one day, I was like, you know what? Let me just give it a freaking try. And I did it, man. And I've never shut it off. It's like it's not giving me what it used to, obviously, because of like where we're heading.
Wait, it's still hashing right now, you're saying?
Oh hell yeah! You hear that noise in the background?
What?
Yeah,
What
man.
is it? Like a
Listen.
1070? Like a Nvidia
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a 1060, six 1060s. I have it right now.
Oh yeah,
At
dude.
700s. Like I have it. Like I was like, yo, you're gonna give it
What do you have
everything.
like what do you have like
It's like
two different power supplies on it? Like a couple
uh huh,
750s or what? Two
uh huh, uh huh.
750s split or what?
No, I think I have two. No, I have two Corsair HX 1000s. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, you're good.
yeah.
Yeah, that's been running for years. You're not even stressing it
And
out.
you know what's crazy? The way I have it configured, the fans are not even on. Like
Ah,
it's just like a alternator. You know what I mean? Like I have
true.
like just building the whole thing from scratch and getting this and the motherboard. Like I just feel like if I come in and that's not on, like I'm like, okay, what happened? It was that kind of shit, and it was like, it's just this. It's like it's literally like you're. I don't know how to explain it. It's like you have like you know what I'm talking about. You have those little paddle feet walking around. You know what I mean? It's like, why is the house so quiet? What are they
Mm,
burning? You know what I mean?
mm.
So yeah, I know we're coming to the end of it. I know that who knows, the next couple of months, they're gonna pull the plug on it, and I don't know. Got to figure out what to do with her.
Yeah,
But
you do. You gotta go some mine for the sake of mining.
yeah, something or another, or something. I don't know. Turn into a node or something. So just jam out some crazy 3D shit and just start doing some VR environments or some shit. I don't know, something.
Or actually one of the first things I never did this. I tried and I failed on a couple of occasions, but you can apparently mine for some like genetics research and stuff. It doesn't really reward you though, I don't think. But it was just kind of like a
Wow.
cool thing that you can do to kind of philanthropically lend your hashing power to these algorithms for doing like genetic research or something. But yeah,
What?
yeah, it was looking into that and like Google. Maybe I was imagining this, but um, yeah, and then so dude, so my experience with mining was like not too different. I kind of scaled up and then I like I was in NorCal where it was quite hot and there was fires all, in the summers.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of cool in the wintertime where it gets kind of cold up there and wintertime was chill. And I had I had my rig in the house during the winter.
Mm-hmm.
Um and it was cozy, it was fine. And
Yeah.
that was like my first rig. I first started right naturally just I was a video editor, so I had a couple 1070s
Mm-hmm.
in SLI on my Alienware, and I was like, they were
Nice.
dope, dude, and they were good cards. I knew, and they were the reason why I kind of became aware of mining was because when I bought them, they were so expensive, right? And I was like, why the fuck is this? You can't get these cards; they're expensive. Because I wanted the second one because I was like, oh, I could render faster with this SLI or something. Yeah, hook them
Mm-hmm.
together. That sounds fun. I've always been a hardware guy, and so that sounded interesting.
And then you can throttle them with the software, which is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I ended up doing. I started getting into once I got off of my desktop because, like, basically at that moment, I set up on Claymore, and then it was like in December or something.
Oh
Look at my
my
wallet
God,
history.
Claymore.
Yeah, hell
That's
yeah, it's
that's
Claymore
dope.
on
That's
Windows
dope. Yeah, yeah,
10 or whatever, and then I
yeah.
set up Claymore, and I bounce on Christmas Vacation, and I set up like shit. What's that remote software called that everyone uses, like Log Me In or whatever? I
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I was like logging in from my phone the whole vacation. I had like some remote restart setup going on and all the shit and a little webcam in the office. So I was like making sure
Wow.
because I didn't know if this shit was going to catch my computer on fire and I didn't want to leave. And
Right, right,
yeah,
right, right, right. I got a little story for that after. Yeah.
bro, you got to see. So I have some videos that I recorded during this time because I started eventually doing this for, I was finishing my undergrad in tech entrepreneurship and management at Arizona State at the time, like through their online. And so I was like, well, I might as well, use this as part of my, my studies and
What
do it.
year was that?
Oh, it was 2017. It's 2017. Well,
Okay,
late
cool.
2017,
Yeah,
18.
yeah.
I graduated in 18. But so I was doing this, dude, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna make this my senior thesis. So I did this like video, still on YouTube, and I linked to it in my link tree on my Twitter page here. But it's there's some other shit in there where like I'm showing like as soon as I got off the PC, which was pretty quick, I actually built this little out of wood, dude. I built like a mining rig frame out of some old. I mean, I'm talking about like wood that had like it was a had like rot and like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
mold and
yeah.
shit. I was like, whatever, this is fine in the garage. Just like and I sawing
Right.
shit, screwing it together. I'm like, all I need is something that'll like hold these damn cards up. And
Yeah. And the fans. Yeah.
dude, and so basically at that time, like I basically was rocking like a box fan just in front of them. And I actually had a tote. The first thing I made, bro, was this. I called it the tote miner. I had this transparent, like a tote case,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
plastic from like Walmart. And I
Uh-huh.
like put the motherboard on this
Oh
old
my
shit
God.
piece of wood and had all the GPUs kind of stacked on top of that. And anyway, like this was just the funnest thing because prior to this, I had done a lot of component swapping, but I had never fucked with the CPU and I had never fucked
Right,
um, with power switches, routing motherboards to
right.
different power switch. Those little pins for the turning the
Yep,
power on and shit. I was
yep.
like, fuck,
And
I
then
didn't.
and then swapping your brain to think that, oh no, we're not going for the ultimate power processor. No, no, we're going with something
Yeah.
really subtle because it's doing it in a different way. And I was like, oh,
Low energy, dude. I got the Celeron
yeah, yeah,
3900,
yeah,
baby.
yeah. Like something, what was it? Lake something? Lake, there was like this one that was famous, like this really popular.
Those
Lake something.
Celerons were super cheap and
Yep.
super like because what so that's why I started talking about my rigs is because I was thinking about the Windows because you were mentioning Windows and I was on Windows because that was my editing machine and then as soon
Right.
as I jumped to the box miner I I I had this problem where I was just pirating Windows and it
Hmm.
will work fine or whatever but it was so like keyboard um and keyboard
The
and
the
monitor
updates were,
intensive.
yeah, if you didn't disable the updates and disable all this shit, they constantly.
Yeah, it was like a mess, dude. And what
Yeah.
I immediately I just said, you know what? I don't want to have a bunch of like I don't need to interface with this shit a lot. It's a minor. Like
Right.
I want to
Right.
fucking run. So
Right.
basically I started going, all right, I don't want to and I want it to run efficiently.
Hmm.
I started looking for what OSs can I mine on that I can run from a thumb drive because that'll be mad efficient and cheap. I could buy a shitload of them and I could scale
Hmm.
these rigs out. So I started growing like, you know, few 6 and 8 card rigs and stacking them up on shelves in my garage
Mhm.
and building them for homies and like co-buying them with co-buying cards with friends so that we could afford
Mhm.
them and get them an ROI on them if we could. We never ROI a single thing, but we were doing this with EthOS. So it was like the best links to
Yes.
stroke, man.
I
Did you
had
ever
that little
use that
hard
shit?
drive. I had that little hard drive sent to me. Yeah.
Oh shit! I
Yeah, I still
bought the
got it.
first one
I still
too.
got it. I still got it.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, they
That was
send that
that
shit
site
to
was
you.
awesome. I was like when I found that site, I was like, I'm in, I'm in, I'm in. I'm like,
The
yes, nobody knows this. But
overclock settings
cover your
were dope too. It was
yeah,
so
yeah.
easy to just plug them into that config dock and
Oh
shit.
man.
It was
Yeah, that was
heaven.
dope. That was dope.
That's pretty cool, dude.
So yeah, man, like first time I when I finally like got her going, I remember I have a picture of it. I'll send it to you tomorrow. I'm like, I had it on top of my desk. Like it was literally the only thing I was doing. And like I got every little piece, boom, 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 boom. And then I find when I hit that boom, that power, and it was like that thing just started going like and I'm like, holy shit, it's working. And I'm like, okay, and this shit was like loud and powerful,
Yeah,
and I was like,
yeah.
I'm like, but remember, not throttled. So I'm like, okay, like I felt this like just like this weight off my neck, and I was like, I've been on this for like weeks, and I was like, okay, and I forgot that I had to have lunch like my family, so I was like, all right, so I leave it on. I'm like in downtown, and I leave it on. I go across town, and I'm just there like looking to like air at the dinner table. And I remember my mom telling me, she's like, "What's wrong? Is everything okay?" I'm like, "No." I mean, like, yeah, but no. She's like, "What?" I'm like, "I I I feel like my apartment's gonna burn." She's like, "Why?" I was like, "Cause I left this engine running at full blast, and it's not right. Something's not right." So I was like, holy shit. So I fucking drove back like hauling ass. I'm like, okay, something's and I had no because it's like, especially back then, 2016, 2017, it's not like, you go to your neighbors like, hey man, should I leave it? Everything was like, nobody was doing this shit. So it's like so I just started like looking up, and I was like, oh, okay, I gotta throttle this shit. So I went in, downloaded the right throttler, and then got that shit down to, and make sure that the memory was down, but this was up, and you know how it is. I equalized everything, and that shit just like shit ran like a little Porsche engine, man. It was like
I
fucking love
never
it.
fucked with firmware on any of my cards, but my homie who did regretted it
Mm.
horribly. He
Mm-hmm.
burned out a bunch of cards and had problems
Oh
with them.
yeah.
I overclocked the shit out of a lot of mine,
Yeah,
and I got,
yeah, yeah,
but my shit ran stable overclock. I would go to
yeah.
failure where you're
What
glitchy, where you're
what
bricking.
what number did you clock it to? Like the main number?
I wish I knew my 1070s. It was, I think I remember something like 24 or 26 or something.
100?
No, no, just like it was like 26-26. I don't remember what the numbers represent or stood
Oh no,
for.
no, yeah, yeah, no. So I
You're
think
talking
that's
about
why.
mega hash per second or whatever, like the
Well,
actual hash rate.
no, no, like I'm the actual throttler. You know how you have the segments? You have like the the memory core, and then you have like the speed of your fan. So I think for people that I know started around the same I did, they've gone through 2 or 3 rigs because their shit burned out because they did the same thing. They just said, "Fuck it, I want as much as possible," and it was just like the way I thought about it. I was like, "There's no like." I don't have like the budget to do this all over again. Like
Yeah,
that was my
exactly.
budget at that time. Think about this, right? So I started to like I went through this like kind of writer's block kind of stuff with my design and web development. I got so bored of everything. I was literally gonna go into like
Wait, you're
logistics.
like a web dev, dude?
Yeah, well, I've been doing websites since the '90s. So, but I got so bored of everything, right? Because it was just like, oh, I felt like a fucking utility belt, and I was like, oh man. and I was like literally like about to like, so the budget that I had on for my rig was my budget for my drone. I was gonna get into drones in 2015, 2016. I started doing all the research, saving the money, doing this because I was like, okay, this is the future, and this is basically, and a lot of like, I was doing newsletters for a lot of like real estate companies out here. So, and I know that they weren't using helicopters anymore. They're using drones to go over and do perimeters on boundary lines of real estate, right? So I was like, huh, it's like, something else I could tax them for. Or like, yeah, I do that too. You know what I mean? Because that's kind of like what I do out here. It's like, yeah, I do that too. So I was like, yeah, I got to figure out this drone stuff, but forget about it. Once, once the crypto tick hit me, I was like, hold on, you know. So it is pretty interesting, but I think like I was saying, like a lot of people, I think I kept the cards just in the last couple of months. I really took them up a level. So I was like, okay, let's see how much we can really take these girls in, being that we're going down to the last, um and I think that's what's made these cards last. I mean, I'm gonna, before I turn her off, I'm gonna write like a good little article and send it to Nvidia and be like, yo, listen, this
Yeah,
is this is
trooper.
5 6 years non-stop running. I mean, I had like rogue storms. I mean, I'm on Biscayne Bay. I got rogue storms coming off the ocean and just going. Bah, bah, bah. I'm hearing transformers blow up. My APC backups, I got two going. I've had APC backups blow up with smoke, and the second APC catches it, and those
You got
cards are.
APC backups on your rig too,
Of
dude?
course I do. I got a 1500 and a 1300,
Bro, you're
and
not
those.
gonna. I swear to God, you're not gonna believe me, dog. I had fun. I can show this shit my new egg history or whatever. I had two APCs as well, man. I swear to God, I was the same way, bro. I was like, I don't want this
Yeah,
shit
yo,
surging and frying. I was like, I want a surge protector, but then I was like, what? A surge
no,
protector
no,
that's
yeah,
also
yeah.
a battery bank? Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And bro, and I remember it's like when you got to do the interview for the how do you call it, when you send it back, and they're like, "Oh, did you have anything powerful?" It's like, "No, no, just your everyday little." It's like
Just
the funniest
overclocked
thing is,
miners.
I know people must be bored of this conversation, but the reality is, it's like when I would have somebody over, and they would just like kind of like walk around the apartment. They're like, they would just stand in front of it, like, what is this? like, like, because it doesn't look like your average thing. You know what I mean? So it's like people always have this little awe of like, what is this? Like, that's what keeps the power on, honey.
For my case, that's what keeps the power off, man. We
you know,
gotta get batshit ape in here. I got the hand up for a little bit. I love that you want to jump in this convo.
go for it.
Batshit, what's up, homie?
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, no, it's interesting hearing about people that have been in here, like at least it sounds like a couple cycles, or at least like 2 cycles, because I feel like some of the network that I've kind of built up are people that have only been in one cycle. So to hear kind of stories about like mining and how things operated is definitely really interesting to me.
It's good for us
Cool.
too because there was hardly anyone. At least it felt that way.
Yeah.
You know.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
I like to go into these spaces sometimes, and like, even if I don't know a person in it, and I like to hear what everyone's, because it's almost like, when you like, when you're into something but you don't know anybody, whether they're in tech, whether how professional they are, they're not into it, and then later on years you find out, oh, you were into that, but you were across the country, and it's like, it's interesting. So yeah, man.
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
definitely cool to. Go ahead, jump.
I was just say I heard Lex, you said you were kind of like a web dev and have been for a while.
Yeah, man. I registered my first domains in the late 90s. I started with HTML, JavaScript. I even messed around with Cold Fusion, and saw that whole thing happen. That's why I feel like such a like a nostalgic with the ENS, because it's like, oh my God, it's happening all over again. And so I'm young enough and old enough to like, appreciate both.
You got to be in your 40s then, right?
Definitely, definitely late 40s, brother. I
Oh,
was like, I'm from that up, up, down, down, side, 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 from like, going to school with, like eternal Nintendo like codes like, yo, dude, are you sure this worked? Trust me, this is gonna work. That kind of
yeah.
shit,
Yeah, I remember
which
those
is,
long ass codes, dude. LL
and
up
it's
up.
like, yeah, yeah, and it's like, I feel like, I swear to God, man, I just feel like it's still that. It's still that. You had a question for me, buddy?
Yeah, no, I'm trying to like get familiar with web development. I haven't done that much. I've been a full-time Android developer for like a while now, like 10 years, and I haven't done too much in web, but I'm like starting to build something, and I basically have something built out in React and then something built out in Node, and and people keep suggesting to learn like Express, and I'm trying to figure out what's a good resource that can help me, get something quickly up and
Yeah.
running
What
using
I would,
Express.
yeah, what I would suggest is like what are your favorite websites out there, right? And then think about like you're already into the functionality of the code, right? So I'm not sure if you're aesthetically as well, right? So the way I could see
But
it
I just don't
is,
have the Express piece
I'm sorry. Oh,
set up.
okay. So yeah, like sometimes I would look at like what are like the dopest websites out there functionality
Yeah,
wise, and then go and then figure out, whether it's through contact or through, if you can go through the source and be like, oh, they did it with this, because that's what you're gonna find, because everyone's gonna want you to do whatever is trending or whatever their friends are doing. But a lot of times, in my experience in technology, and technology and design always dance together, over the years, you'll find that functionality always leads. And form follows function, right? That's an old kind of like thing. And you'll notice that like sometimes you're like, oh wow, with this type of platform or code or whatever it is, you can do this, right? But then with this other one, it allows you to do that plus sets you up to be able to host other things in it. And that's what I found. I mean, I don't do as much anymore. Like I've gone into a whole other, kind of realm. I feel like I put in my tenure. And I'm kind of like, but I always love to hear like what people are hearing, using today. I mean, I think I created my first HTML site, I think it was in 98, and it was like, I felt like it was like magic, you know what I mean? Like,
Yo,
but
guys, I think we gotta just take opportunity here because I understand what you're saying. You put in your tenure, Lex, and
yeah,
that's like I'm not gonna ask you to start building web pages right now necessarily, but
right.
maybe if Batshit has a desire to learn, and we have projects because I have about a handful of projects that might be interesting. I've just opened up a DM with us so that we might have a convo, just like an open door about just run things by each other and see if there's anything that interests you to work on and to what extent or to advise on. Because, dude, look, I'm in spaces all the time, and I never meet people like you. I've never met anyone like you out here. I mean, I really have a lot of respect for you. And the few times I've bumped into you, I'm just like, I would really appreciate to have your perspective on anything and everything. To be honest with you.
I appreciate them. And I appreciate all you guys, whether you're starting or you've been in it for a while, because it keeps me going, because so yeah, definitely put me down. I mean, I love the program aspect of it. I've always started in design, like like I started with graph and calligraphy and everything as a kid, and that just, when everybody was doing graphic design, I was like, wait a minute, you telling me I can make this thing click? And that was the thing back then. We would look at like flyer designers like, oh really? That's really cool design. Watch this, you know. And that's how I feel like things are still happening. It's like, oh yeah, cool, yeah, that's a domain, that's really cool, but can your domain do this? It's like we're still doing that. So, I've sent you some of my art and stuff like that. I think that's the thing that I'm still kind of like circling around. It's just like I like just getting lost for like 3 days and just on a blank canvas in Photoshop and see, okay, what's this gonna be? Am I gonna mint this? Is this gonna be this, or can this be for something that a project somebody's already doing? But yeah, man, I'm totally open, man. You guys, I appreciate the words.
Yeah, it's cool to see somebody like you. I'm in my late 30s, and I've seen the internet kind of cut as I've come up and everything. But I neglected to really hone the software development or development skills. I did build one site, and I do have it still. I have the zip for it, and it's cool. I'm pleased with it or whatever. It's like a little thing, and it's like okay, I built a responsive website, to like query the device, and it has some jQuery interactive things on it that are fun. But the thing is, I like none of that shit's really useful to me now. Um, but it did help me, I think, have an understanding of what you're asking of people. If you're talking about building, because that's more important almost to me now than anything. Just so I know, I'm not just like build, build build the Taj Mahal for me really quick. Would don't you mind? So I'm more practical, in my requests now because of my experience. But I think that with ENS guys, with Web3 right now at this moment, like with building on decentralized websites, we're just on this long and very well attended space that Sadaf.eth hosted earlier with Dylan Meador, testnet.satoshi.eth, who is a very big powerhouse in the ENS
Yeah, I
community.
was there. That was a crazy space.
Man, he's such a baller. I've been hanging with him and kind of around him and watching him for a minute and watching his tutorial videos. Like he's writing the book on this stuff. And so it's really cool to think about, like for somebody like Lex, who probably is a similar, I don't know how old Satoshi is, but probably has like a similar, in his 40s or something. He's like was saw the early adoption of these technologies, and maybe to an extent can have a little bit of fatigue with it, right? Kind of like, okay, well, whatever, like I've built sites, you
Right.
built sites, you built sites, but now we're having this like shit. Can we build them in a really decentralized way? Can we host them
Right.
up on
And that
IPFS?
you're
Yeah.
absolutely listen, you're absolutely right. And I was gonna get to that because it's like for people who have been doing websites, whether it's WordPress, and you're just because I'll be honest with you, some people can create beautiful websites, that don't do anything, and then there's people who can create amazing functionality that looks like shit, right? And the reality is like, oh, but who cares? It works. You're right, but we know aesthetics plays a big part, just down to like typography. You can have a yard sale sign that just says, I don't know what the hell that said, keep driving, or one that says, wow, that looks really cool, let's go check it out, right? So I think it's still design plays a big role in both and functionality. And I think for people like you, batshit, that like have this hunger right now and you have your energy, you need to harness that and understand and listen. People are always going to give you advice for stuff, oh, go this way, go that way, whatever, but listen to like the power of necessity, right? So like what's out there, what are people like asking for, what are people like want, that are not even necessarily talking to you, and right now I think anything that has to do with like IPFS, that like is in such demand, and we're still like kind of in the dark on it, where it's like, what is its potential? Like we're finding out all this potential on ENS that it's not necessarily written anywhere. It's just people who are putting up their sleeves and going in and being like, holy shit, I made it work. You know, so definitely, I think Web3 and IPFS, there's like a whole new, like, it's just, you just found this whole other like buffet. Like, it's like, wow, this, we can do all this stuff with this. Like, I think that's one thing that would kind of like bring me back a little bit, if I knew like, oh, okay, yeah, I could start because, I mean, I literally still have like a good hand, a good, dozen people still hosted on some of my registrars, resellers, and to tell them, hey, by the way, um, and give them a date and be like, you know, oh, January 2nd, 2023, all the sites are gonna have to go IPFS, Web3.
Holy shit, bro. You know what just occurred to me? You might have some of very old registrations of Web 2 domains and the space batshit. Do you remember how the space today with Satoshi? Or actually, it was a different space earlier with Sean Murray about importing DNS into ENS. Are you guys have it?
So I
Yeah.
just heard about that today, but I don't know exactly how they're going to pull that off. But
Let me
Yeah,
tell you. Let me
I've been
tell. Are
reading
you
about
aware?
that for a while, but go for it. Go for it.
Well, I was totally oblivious to
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah,
Sean
yeah.
mentioned it like a few times. I was like, what is he talking about? Okay, it's very simple, and you guys can find out for yourselves right now if you've not done this, but just whatever Web 2 domains you control or own, like if you have
Mm-hmm.
lex.com or whatever, go to ENS app and plug that shit in there right now. It's crazy. Okay, so what this is a process by which you can import like lex.com into give it web3 functionality. You can't buy and sell it as an NFT on blockchain, right? Because it's connected to the DNS, but what it does is it upgrades it. It super powers your DNS, and it goes, now you can send Ethereum to lex.com. Now you can,
oh wow,
log in with that.
wait, I didn't
It's
even realize that they have something like this.
it can
Right.
wrap
So
everything. Go ahead, Lex.
Right. So like techmental.com turned 22 years old in March of this year, right? That was my official, came up with Techmental in 96, kind of on electronic kind of music, kind of like shit I was into back then, kind of video editing and stuff like that. So and since then, in 99, when I was registering domains, back then I was in an agency and we were doing designs. Um, uh, Premios. Premios was the first Nickelodeon online games for Central and South America, North, Central, and South America. So that was one of our clients, MTV Latino, Nickelodeon, and all those guys. And so yeah, so to going back, I have domains going back that old, and
They could
I'll
be the
send.
oldest ENS ever,
Yeah,
like not
yeah, yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
you know what I mean, not officially, but
Yeah,
yeah.
no, no, but I feel you on that because I've been in a couple of spaces where, like some rogue dude just gets up and is like, oh yeah, I was able to do, and that's why they were pressuring that one dude. What's the name of the guy, the head of education of GoDaddy, that he pops up every now and then?
Oh shoot, I don't
Um,
know. No
yeah,
idea.
we kind of put some pressure on him the other day, and it was like, oh, it would be cool if, because he supports ENS, but then again, he's on both sides of the court, and it would be cool if within the control panel of either GoDaddy or whatever your reseller is, because Techmental shop.techmental.net is a reseller for GoDaddy, and I've had that for I think now 10 years or 11 years, and it would be cool in the control panel because it has, forward to or mask or do this, and it would say set as ENS. How dope would that be? You know what I mean? Where, whatever domain that would be, Crypto Art Miami or whatever some of the domains that I have from back then, you know, that would
Uh
be that would be really dope.
cryptoartmiami.com.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I got a couple of those joints.
Dude. Batshit, what's up, man?
Hey, yeah, and I was just wondering, has anyone set their avatar of their ENS,
Yeah, man,
like the
check my
background?
record. Yeah, I set mine, yeah. Just recently I set a
Yeah,
few
yeah.
of them.
I've been trying to do that, and I haven't been able to figure out how to like.
If you go to Rainbow, I think they did it pretty easy over there. You could log in with Rainbow. In Rainbow, you know what I'm talking about?
Well, I just did it through the ENS app, and then you just go into the add the record or edit the record and the test
Right.
record, and then you just update the avatar field. I did all of that,
Yeah.
but it's like not working for like
Is it?
emoji ENSs. But
Oh, is it?
then
Okay, it's broken. The link is broken or no?
Well, it just doesn't go. It doesn't like render. And then also for like just ENSs that have like characters and letters and like dashes, that didn't work. So does it have to be all letters, or does it have to be all numbers, or like a combo?
No, I don't think that would have any bearing. So the avatars are not going to be the ability for the avatar to update or what have you is not going to be have anything to do with the syntax of the domain itself. However, there are a couple ways to connect an avatar. You can connect an avatar at any link, any image that's hosted online. You can link to it, and then just by the URL, as long as it's like direct to the image.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is your if you have any NFTs, right? That
Yeah, I know the EIP, that like
cool,
format.
cool. Yeah. So that those are the two that I've done, and both worked, but both required me to refresh the metadata in OpenSea.
Yeah, I've done that
Yeah.
like tons of times.
Shit, dude. I don't know what to say then.
And
Damn.
so I used the most recent ones. I used a Bitly like link generator. So I took a long link, put it through Bitly, and then got a shorter link, and then I put that into the avatar field, and that's not working.
So the actual avatar you said is an emoji?
So I have different ENSs, and the most
Okay.
recent one just has like letters and dashes. So like dashes between different letters.
So okay, so just to understand you, what's not showing up is not necessarily the avatar, it's not registering the actual domain itself. Is that what's going on?
No, I have the domain, or I have the ENS I just got, but
Right,
it's on the record, like the text record. I
right,
went to edit the avatar field of a text record
right. So
with a
what is
link.
how does that domain start with what?
Oh, like what is it? Which one is
Yeah,
it?
like no, just like read off the do you have it in front of you or no?
Yeah, let me pull it up. Yeah, so I have it right here. Look on ENS or on OpenSea.
However, just start reading off the domain.
Oh, it's able. Oh, fine. Oh, it's worked. Oh, nice. Yeah, it's I can share it
Cool.
in the messages, but
Was it a
yeah,
metadata refresh again or what?
no, I've been like refreshing all the time. I guess it took more than like 30 minutes to refresh, but
Oh, definitely.
like how long does it normally take?
Dude,
Like
my
I thought
shit
it'd
took
be
like
like,
3 days and I was like kept
oh
on
dude,
doing it.
seriously? Oh
Yeah.
man, dude.
And my shit's on IPFS, so I was like 30 minutes, you're good.
Yeah, I'm like I'm getting rugged by this, but
No.
apparently not.
So check it out. Do here.
But it
Let me
doesn't
see.
work for the emoji ones.
Have you
Um,
checked out like rainbow.me slash and then put the name of your ENS, which is your primary, and it should
okay, let's see, rainbow.
dot me slash and then you put your ENS, like that main one.
Okay.
Let me see.
So Rainbow is basically a front face for your ENS. That's a very user friendly way to kind of update your ENS avatar just by uploading an image from your device, and
I
it'll
feel like
kind of
I've been on.
automatically.
I feel
Is that
like I've
right?
been on Rainbow.
Right. So it
I'm
should show.
asking. I've not been on there, so I was kind of. It sounded like I was explaining, but I was actually
Yeah.
kind of asking.
Yeah. You
Is
don't even need
it
to
more
like.
feature rich on the like mobile apps than on the mobile web?
So you don't have to even be logged in to do it. Like you could like check anybody else's. So what I was going to show you is that it'll show if you did it correctly, and you want to know that it's already across like the web. It'll show your avatar on top of your that domain already on top left.
Yeah,
I'm
I
looking.
haven't set an avatar for that.
Oh,
I
okay,
I
okay.
I set it for another not for my like primary. I just set it
You
for
could
just
do
like
it for
my own
any.
spot.
Do it for any of whatever that domain that you did set it off, and see if it shows up on
Oh,
top.
okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I posted it in the like not pinned it to the top. But I posted it in the
Oh,
comment
okay.
section. You
Okay.
guys see?
Yo, guys, can I throw? I gotta probably wrap this soon. But can
Yeah.
I throw an idea at you guys?
Go for it.
Yeah.
I've just posted this in the forum on ENS DAO just today. I don't do that often. I really don't. I've never have before. I post there occasionally, but I don't. I've never posted a proposal of any kind. And this was not well thought through. Okay, this was just kind of me just going, "Oh my god! Like I think I have discovered something that's actually really important." And
Okay.
I still feel strongly that it is. And so, anyway, I posted about it and I just pinned the post. And the idea is this: ENS is wonderful. We love ENS. ENS has the ability in the content record to put any coin address at all. Any coin address at all. Bitcoin, Doge, and Litecoin are listed there by default. But if you go to add additional fields, you can scroll that list and it's like A to Z. It's like freaking hundreds of them. So that's interesting. But let's just go with the defaults for now. Litecoin, Dogecoin, Bitcoin. So you've got these Bitcoin forks on there. Okay. Why are those all the default ones? I guess they're just the early coins, right? So it makes sense. But what's the utility? They're just there. You can put any address there, and two people can have the same address there. No problem, right? But isn't that a problem? Couldn't that be a problem if you were trying to route Bitcoin payments based on ENS? It's no problem. You just have that one associated. But if you're trying to log in with your Bitcoin address or validate something with your Bitcoin or your Doge or Litecoin in a more Web3 native way, it occurred to me that in the same way that we are able to validate with Countercord, which is the Doge Party and Counterparty tool for validating ownership of a Bitcoin address or a Dogecoin address by broadcasting an alphanumeric code. So basically you say, hey, if your address is, this, then from that address broadcast the code 5A9233. And so you go, okay, I'll go and do that. So you go broadcast the code, and then the place where you got the code generated in the first place is sniffing your address for that message to broadcast. As soon as it sees that you broadcast that message, it says, oh shit, well, they brought, they confirmed the owner, right? This is validation. So now think of this. This is how we validate with Countercord assets. This is how we use Discord to token gate counterparty and Doge party assets. So basically, you can't come in here in this Discord channel unless you have a Jolly Roger. You gotta have the most OG Doge Party asset. This is for Jolly Roger owners only. Okay, that's how this idea started, and no one's using it. We just started. This idea just was created by GitHub Jake09 during our very recent Doge Party hackathon or counter Doge Party hackathon, Doge Party counterparty combined hackathon. And so no one's even using it yet, really, at all. But the point is this, and everyone, validation like this using Bitcoin and Dogecoin has been known, right? It's been known. So it's not like a new discovery. It's not like a novel thing. But what I'm proposing is that we amend the ENS record, and I'm proposing it in the ENS DAO. I'm saying, why don't we add, and I'll share now, the really crappy, ugly image that I made on mobile. Oh shit! Did I not share it? I thought I had already. I guess you know what I must have posted this, guys. Let me just double check profile. I'm gonna check the shit that I've shared from media because I definitely shared this. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So check this out. I made this really ugly image. It's really ugly. I mean, it's awful. And you wouldn't believe, like, I actually pay like the $50 a month or whatever for Creative Cloud. I kind of have this issue where I can't necessarily get on Creative Cloud all the time to make things look pretty. But dude, look at this explanation of this idea, validating these addresses on ENS. Just look at this little image I just pinned here, and just think about it. Just think about what this could mean, because you have the mind to understand this, my guy. Looks like we lost batshit. But
Okay, let me see. On the first one, right? Follow up from post. Is on this first one or the second one?
well, they're both two are connected, but let's just
Okay, yeah.
yeah, take your time. Like I'm gonna message these to you right now. Actually, both of you guys as well. I'm gonna
Okay.
because we're in that group together that I just created. But there's something here, and you may be you may be a part of helping me unlock it. I think you have the web dev experience to be a big part of this. If you see the potential here, I think that there's look think
No,
about the
what you explained sounds like, again, like I was telling bad shit, like sometimes, it's just sometimes you just got to be a fly on the wall and be like, okay, what is it that people need? What is it that's necessary right now? If we could be that wheel, if we could be that sprocket on that engine that we know has potential, we need sprockets right now. We need gears, you know, and this could be something,
it's definitely something. And how it came up was this way. I just sent you in that group chat there with bat shit. I sent you a link to token.art, and that was what happened. What token.art said, "Hey, we're gonna add counterparty and Doge Party support." And I was like, "Well, damn, who gives a shit about us? We're small communities, really. Doge Party is like less than 1,000 people, really." I'm like, "Damn,
Wow.
who are you? Why do you care about us?" And they're like, "Well, we're historical NFT collectors, and we started building these tools for ourselves." And so I'm like, "Let me host you on a space." Um, these guys, Golly Jer and Bob Troya, doxed founders, hella cool guys, counterparty and Doge Party collectors and NFT collectors, and just cool guys. And so I'm like,
Okay.
I host them from a space, and you can find it on my account or on Doge Party. I shared it on my account, but I hosted them on Doge Party Monday, and I spent
Okay.
the whole time talking to them about token.art. And what token.art is an app, a mobile app on Android and iPhone, and you can just put in your ENS domain, and it'll import all of your NFTs. You don't have to put your wallet private key or anything, right? It's like you can't. It's not a wallet. It's just a visualization tool. So
Right.
I can look at all your NFTs if I put your wallet address in. In other words,
Correct. Correct.
so this
Like
is
rainbow. Like rainbow.
yes. So
Okay.
this is super cool. So you can go to token.art, you download the app, install the app. They don't have a web app yet. They're working on that, but the iPad, the tablet, and Apple iOS phone apps are pretty dope. They're a little clunky, honestly, in some ways, but they're two full stack devs building the shit. So the UI is a little like you said.
Did you
They're
send me the link on that or no?
yeah, it's the most recent one, and I'll send it to you directly as well. I just sent it in the
Okay.
group
Yeah.
chat, but
Okay.
it's on my clipboard still right now, so I'm gonna DM it to you at this exact
Okay.
moment. Oh shit, no, it actually left my clipboard already, so I go back over there. But yeah,
I hear
this
shit.
what was it? It's this it's there's super fascinating shit going on here, dude. When you think about the potential to validate, right? To say this is my ENS record. Okay, nobody's going to
Right.
contest that, right? Okay, this is your ENS address. But now, in addition to that, to be able to say this is my validated Bitcoin address within my ENS record. And it's not just saying like, oh, I put it in there. Everyone could just put it in there. This is like
Right.
saying it's in there and it's fucking definitely mine. It's verified mine. I verified it by broadcasting an alphanumeric transaction confirming that the shit is mine. So you can
Right.
do this with all of your addresses. It gives ENS the flex power to be like, ENS is like the master registry of all of your fucking online Web3 identity. All of
Oh
it.
shit. You
You
know what it
see?
becomes? It becomes a solidifier. It becomes the oh shit. It becomes the SSL.
Yeah. If I understood SSL better, I would probably be laughing like you.
Oh my god. The secure certificate.
Yeah, I know a little bit enough about SSL, but like, so tell me
Yeah,
now.
secure certificate. A secure certificate basically says, okay, this is what gives you that little shield, the little lock on your, which is something I always bring up and nobody really like catches on. It's like, who's gonna come up? Who's gonna be the SSL of Web3? Who's gonna do the secure certificate? Like, in other words, like I think it was 2019 or 2020, um, that Google was like, if you didn't have an SSL, your site, whenever it would come up, it doesn't matter how much, like, first of all, you couldn't do Google Analytics, you couldn't do pay per click, you couldn't do anything. You had to have that little SSL installed onto your hosting, which basically tells the world that your site is safe, of it's a real site, it doesn't have spyware, it doesn't have a bunch of shit, and it's potentially safe to have e-commerce on it, whatever. Nowadays it can cost like anywhere between 40 to like, $200 a year. Back in the day you had to install it into the DNS, into the actual web server, and it costs like thousands of dollars. Or right, it's real practical today, but it kind of gives, like, if you don't have an SSL on your website today, like, as soon as you try to go to that site,
It's
there's
like,
like this, like,
oh,
no, there's a splash page that comes out. Google says, hey, just letting you know, we're not responsible for whatever you're gonna come into. And that just sucks.
you better
You know what I
leave.
mean?
It's a
So
dangerous neighborhood right here.
right, if you make that left turn. But for what you're talking about, think about this. I know I'm going on a different direction,
Go
but
wherever
like,
you want. It's
just
just us,
like
bro.
just like you're solidifying that, yeah, that is that address. How about solidifying, like, no, this is a real website. Like, you could have your own message, like, like it. I don't know. It's like, I think you got something there. It's making me think other things, which is, interesting.
Oh, okay. The potential. It's the first time in a long time where the potential ocean of use cases is seemingly so broad that I can almost not extract a single one out of it, which is very uncomfortable because it makes
Hmm.
me feel like simultaneously like I have the best and worst idea. But when you
Yeah, but you know what? Hold that thought. That little thing, whenever you get that, that just means you're either ahead of the curve. You know what I mean? It's like, I always go back to like the LED. When the LED was created 100 years ago, nobody found a reason why to use it, or even how to use it. And it wasn't until like GE bought its patent, like in the 70s or whenever it was, and be like, yeah, we'll use it for little radios and shit. You know what I mean? And look how that shit runs the world today. You know what I'm saying?
true story.
So, you know what I
Well,
mean?
Nick.eth. Okay, look at this. This is the best part of this whole thing. I'm gonna pin this. Nick is a really smart guy. I mean, he's like built this whole. He's been a big changing the world here, and
Right.
he commented. He doesn't like really engage with my stuff a lot. We're not like friends or anything. But he commented here, and I was like, damn. I mean, I tagged him, granted, but I was like, yo, you see this pin? I just pinned this up here. He said, so he's a really smart guy, and I think that I have a hard time communicating sometimes what the ideas that I have, and so he's just like, I'm sorry, what? He's like, I can't make heads or tails of what you're proposing.
I get it. I get it. And that happens. I mean, you're an artist as well. So it's like, it's sometimes to verbalize what we're imagining into actual words, it's so hard, and it ends up taking all the fat out of it. So yeah, it's funny that he said it. But the fact that he actually, so this is within the DAO. You wrote this inside the thing.
No, what you're seeing here is just like this is just on my Twitter page. Like he's just
Oh,
interacting.
okay, okay.
So that feels good that he's over here on Twitter saying like, I mean, even if you said you're an idiot, shut up, I'd be like, damn, Nick.eth called me an idiot. Yes. So, but he didn't
No, no,
say that.
listen, yeah, I know, and I remember early on when it took like 5 days, 6 days to actually register in ENS, and it's like those are the guys I would hit up and be like, "Yo, man, this and that, and that, I'm getting this error, I'm getting this shit." So those guys are cool, and I know they're busy doing other shit. They're like, there's layers to this shit, like literally. But the fact that, yeah, it's sometimes I feel like I wish we could take these conversations, and like, just like we could text each other or IG each other with these little sound bites. You know what I mean? Like, it'd
Oh,
be
we
cool
can
if
now, bro. I've been doing it. So check this out. I
on
can do it right.
Twitter.
Yeah. So watch this, dude. This is so cool, man. The new iPhones, like all iPhones, whatever, the new iOS, for however long, I've just discovered it myself. There's a feature that will allow you to screen record right on the iPhone without having to download a third party app or something and
Right,
videos.
right.
Okay. So now you can take your Twitter Spaces and once they're over or whatever, boom,
Mm,
play it back, get your screen record, and then just
mm,
edit the video around.
yes.
Maybe crop out the top and the bottom so it's not so ugly. Look at my media. Look at my videos. I've been doing this now. With
But
highlights, I'm highlighting my Twitter Spaces moments.
yeah, or also, depending on what video editing software you use, I like to use
Premiere.
like Wondershare. It's just Filmora. It's just really good. It allows me to do certain things without taking up too much space.
Mm,
Extract the video out of it and just keep the sound and just take the portion how you broke down the idea, and that's what you want to send. It's like, hey, I was talking about this, and that way they can hear the conversation or whatever is what I was suggesting. So,
yes,
you,
yes.
you
We
know what
have
I
this
mean?
ability now. I'm starting to use it, and I will use it probably with this if it's all right if I have your permission to do that.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm probably, I can't stand the sound of my voice, but yeah, whatever. You sound smarter than everyone here, so everything's cool.
I got the smart
Um,
guy voice going on, just talking like a really nerd sounding voice, like, huh, hmm.
yeah. Let's circle around. Let's circle around to that.
Fascinating. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
feel
funny.
like
I had to go through my early shit, but yeah, I've had Dogecoins.eth for a minute. It's funny.
what?
Yeah, I've had that for a hot minute.
I
Yeah.
got I got a Doge ENS domain. I got OX Doge Lord.
Okay.
It's a pretty crap domain, honestly, but
Oh, I've
is
been
what it
wanting to
is.
ask you. I got like maybe a little bit of battery left. When did you get into Crypto Skulls?
Shoot, man, I wish I knew. It was been maybe like April or something. I gotta look and see. I can't
Really?
remember.
So just a real quick, because that's another degree that we're connected, right? So Crypto Skull 1734, my first Crypto Skull, I minted that.
What
I
the
minted that 3 days after, it was created.
what?
Yeah, back then when Crypto Skulls finally
You
popped
have
off.
it? You still have it?
Yeah, of course. It's in there. That was my first. That was the first. My ENSs were
Dang.
first. There's some 2017 ENSs that end up letting go because it was through the when the gas was super crazy, like $600, and it was like, well, pay the power or pay for this thing. But
Dang.
the funny thing is that when a resurgence happened, I was like, this is so funny, right? And then I end up during the resurgence, I end up getting the Crypto Skull 708, which three it has the three color rarity, which is the back, the skin, and the jaw are all the same color. So the jaw looks like it's floating and has a pink mohawk. Yeah, so those two guys are my like they're in there. They're gonna ride out for a while.
708. I'm gonna check them out right now.
Yeah, 708 is the three color parity, rarity, and then 1734 was the original, and you look that up. I'm been the only owner of that. Actually, I'm both, but this one is the OG one.
1734. All right, let's check this guy out.
Yeah,
Oh, the bones, the blue hair,
yeah,
the green background. You minted this guy, the yellow guy.
yeah.
My skull is yellow too. I got this yellow skull. All right,
Look at
and
the look at the
what's
metadata on that one.
yeah, I should check it out, huh, while I'm here. Um, I hate it when you open up a drop down inside of OpenSea and it's like, go away. How do you make it go away? There you go. All right. All right, let's check him out. Hmm. 3 years ago, man. Crypto Skulls. Wow.
So it shows like
Token
I think it's like
mental.
like 3 days, right? Like 3 days after.
You're
So it was like, and I didn't know.
crazy.
Yeah, I didn't know anyone that. I looked at them because it was like, remember, my first shit was trading. I got into trading, and I was like trading, and then it was like, okay, let me start collecting that. And I was looking at, the trash artists and all these guys doing shit in 16 and 17. I was like, until I figure out how to like safeguard this money, I'm not even gonna like shit. I'm like, I got all this like I got every hard drive from every computer I've had since 97, 98. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I got content forever. You know what I mean? So I was like, I was like, you got to discipline yourself. You know how that is, man. So I was like, I kept on looking at these guys are having fun, but I got to learn how to like move. I was using shit like Ether Delta. You remember that shit or no?
Hell yeah, dude! I got some transaction history on Ether Delta. I got some wallet
Dude,
history
Ether
on.
Delta was like the fucking German nun teacher. Like, it was like, you gotta learn this shit, you gotta learn it hard. It's like Atari 2600 fucking mystery level, bro.
It was a bit absurd, man. But you know what's crazy about peer to peer trading like that was like, dude, the liquidity was just it was just how ridiculous. You'd be like,
I know.
what could you even move? You'd be like, there'd be
I
like three
know.
orders stacked up, three buyers and three sellers, and the seller's trying to sell like
I
$1
know.
million worth of tokens, and the buyer's trying to buy
Dude,
like $1.
typing in your fucking key into that. Oh my god.
Yeah, just pop your keys in there. No worries.
Yeah, just follow your key. It's on the browser. You want to remember this?
Shit, man, that was the days though. Those experiences are super. They're valuable in the history. That's the thing. This is another project idea, man. Please become totally energized in your like passion for web dev with regard to decentralized sites, because you probably have a lot of ENSs, dude. I've got like a lot. Look at my bag. I've got some great ones out. You might get fired up on sub building and stuff, but with some of this stuff, I mean, it's not even about like web page
I
building.
got you. I got you. I
We're,
got you.
we're
I
building
got you.
shit. You feel me?
Yeah.
You're
Oh,
getting
but
the
by
vision.
the way, for the record, I got CryptoSkulls.eth, right?
How do they not have that, dude? How, like, when did you register that?
Look it up.
You're crazy, man. Are you so wait, hang on. First, before I do that, let me see your other
Oh,
skull.
708. 708.
Yeah,
She's like the side chick. She's like, oh yeah, I like her.
she's cool. She's all right.
Yeah, she's cool. She's like, yeah.
Yeah,
So that's the one. Okay, so 708 is the one I did that crazy video that it pops off with the Skeletor's voice behind it all over the design district. I gutted it out and I did like, Crypto Skull 708 has a posse. You saw that, right?
can you please link me? Because I don't know that I did.
Yeah. I think you're the one. That's the one that you wrote. Tech. Lex is single handedly promoting Super World or some shit like that.
Oh
Remember?
hell yeah, yes,
Yeah.
then
Okay.
yeah,
So
yes.
that's from this the 708.
Okay, that makes sense. So that's how, yeah,
Yeah.
because of the uniformity of the color, how it's all, yeah, that
Right.
makes
Right.
sense.
So right. So you have the background, and that thing that hip hoppers do, right? In the clubs, they go around with a diamond checker. You know that's a thing, right?
What?
Yeah, so check it out. So the bougie kind of hip hop guys are like, pulling up in like all kinds of
Shut.
crazy
They
shit.
got like a
They
diamond.
go up, yeah, they go up to people and they like have a diamond checker. It's a laser, and they're like, "Oh, your shit's fake. Your shit's fake. Your shit's fake." So you got people like seriously, like old school like crypto skull guys that are going and seeing whether the background, the face, and the jaw are all the same color for people boasting. I remember when Gary V came on and he was like, "Oh no," and someone was like, "Yeah, but you missed out on the color rarities." He's like, "Oh yeah, in a couple of years that's not gonna matter." It's like, yeah, okay, brother.
That's hilarious.
It is.
The skulls are pretty cool, man. The aesthetic just really works, and the weirdest thing about the skulls is the way that Leonidas's his role with the skulls like defines them as a historical project, because he's out here just like just dredging in historicals all the time, posting about them all every day. So when you see skulls, because Leo is like a big skull holder, you think historical, but like there's a lot earlier mint date stuff out there, but skulls have this cultural like bridge between the future and the past. So I feel like they have a great place in the industry. You know what I mean? To like be impactful.
And they are, because skulls, I mean, the funny thing is that I like skulls, period, right? And I got a good buddy who's I onboarded him. He's on one of the collections on Token Mental is like how I onboard people, so I got different collections that like the face of them. And he does amazing skull shit. So it was almost like when I found this, I was like, oh, this is something I can get into. Now, honestly, and for the record, I did fall off a little bit on Crypto Skulls in the last year or so, because I just felt like they were trying to chase celebrities and trying to do this, and then I wasn't crazy about the whole like you gotta burn your skull in order to get the new 3D one. I was like, what are you guys doing? So I was like, okay, I'm
I didn't even
happy.
hear about that. That sounds like a terrible idea. What the fuck?
Yeah, and it was, and that's when the floor of the Crypto Skulls went down, because it's like how are you going to destroy the thing that made this, makes it so simple? It's like an 8-bit and all this shit. But anyways, like my boy What, which I want you to like click onto too, because he's like my partner in crime out here. He's like, we've had like conversations about like, man, it would be so cool to do like a comic book of the Crypto Skulls and give them kind of like an environment and shit like that and stuff like, you know but it's just, whoever runs the ecosystem, if it doesn't run itself and you start having other people run it and they don't have the same kind of like vision, that's when like things can go awry, right? And that's why I kind of like the what I like about ENS, where it's like, hey guys, the DAO is there, this technology is here, and all these people are building around it, but nobody is actually maneuvering ENS itself. Like that stays like lock key. You know what I mean? Like they're
Yeah.
not gonna go ahead and change la la la. I'm not saying that in the future the logo might change or whatever the case might be, but that's what I like about it. And that's why I continue to gravitate. And the fact that I've been registering domains for so long and I have hundred of DNS domains, to the point of like I'm like, that's why I value ENS. I'm like, yo, this is, I don't know. I feel like it's the kid of the other kids, like my grandkids. It's like, yo, like, let me tell you the stories of like Verizon iPhone.net. You know what I mean? Like when I had it back then. You know what I mean? And what that sold for and all that. You know what I mean? Fish stories for another day. You know what I mean? So
Dude,
yeah, yeah, man.
I would love because so here's my history with GoDaddy and Web2s. Like over the years, I registered like dogwater.com because I
Wow.
was like drunk and I was like, oh, I made this dog watering thing for my dog that I thought was
Right, right, right,
clever. I was like, I'm gonna make a bunch of these, I'll sell them. Okay, that's like literally like, kind of like I did things like that probably, in my 20s, right? Like a handful of times. Never
right.
never did anything like let these domains lapse and shit. So and then I made that like had enough experience with really taught myself CSS and HTML over the course of like couple like 6 weeks or something. I really took a really deep dive, and some jQuery and stuff. But then and never really ended up taking that site live because it was for an insurance agency that was a small company and like kind of was fizzling out anyway. But so that's that. And now, just in the last couple of years, my guy, or in a couple months, like maybe 6 months ago or something, maybe less than a year ago, I just went, before I really started getting into NFTs even, I had just gone on a domain purchasing binge. I don't know why. I had no idea why. I
Oh
bought
man.
Meta. You know what? I remember why, because I had a vision, my guy, for I was going on Coin Market Cap, and I was going and I asked
Mm-hmm.
myself the essential questions. I zoomed out all the way to the biggest macro, and I said, what's the market capitalization of all stocks? And I found like stocks market cap or stocks
Mm-hmm.
cap or something. And then I said, what's the market cap of all real estate and shit? I found every resource I could that described all of the fucking natural resource equity and the wealth in the world and everything and loans and everything. And I tried to aggregate an understanding of all fiat market cap is a fucking gold mine of knowledge, dude. If you go to fiat market cap, you will immediately, in one glance, you will understand the relationship between the $1 trillion in Bitcoin and the $120 trillion in paper silly money. And that helps you understand just what the market cap, and therefore, by reverse engineering, the actual price, because we know the supply of Bitcoin can actually be in the future in a mass total complete saturation adoption in a post-fiat world. What does the price of Bitcoin look like? And fiat market cap actually helps you answer that question. And so when I started understanding this, when I started thinking in this way about a year ago, I got a bug up my butt to register. Metamarketcap.com is what I wanted. Metamarketcap.org. I got a few different variants of that, and while I was at it, I got n0vax.io and a few others anyway. So, but now today, I got some of these are probably going to expire soon, and they're cool. I got some cool ones as well that might have some value. I got gymbox.io. It's my most valuable thing.
Check out. I'm sure I'm gonna give you a bunch of ideas with this one. Check out your DM.
Cool.
It's a little montage I did with DNS domains. How's that look?
That's some stuff. So I haven't built anything on any of those, and here's my problem, dude. When I think about it, I have, like you described it actually earlier in this space. You said that you went through a period where you had like this, like, creative block and stuff with that kind of shit.
Right,
Well,
right.
let me just tell you something that's I won't get into the whole story and stuff. I want to kind of let you go and stuff in between, like.
So all those domains, and that's just one registrar, all those domains forward to either a specific project or they go straight to techmental.com.
Does that give you mad like like search visibility, search engine optimization that way?
Yeah.
So those are all like serving as keywords that you're squatting on, kind of.
Exactly. So that plus I got those going to specific, like, depending on what they are, they might go to a Twitter page or a Twitter post. I'm like fucking forwarded relink mask. Like, I love using all that shit. That's why I'm so
Dude.
What's up? But that's what I like. I like that. I like that functionality of it. Like, I'm already done with the coding shit part. I like that. That's why I'm so interested in the IPFS and ENS together, where we could start making this thing take a loop and then go this way and blah blah blah.
Please, let's get together like tomorrow. I'm gonna call you up. You're on East Coast time?
Yeah, I'm right here in Miami.
Okay, man. I'm out here in Pismo Beach, California. And so
yeah,
we're 3 hours apart, and I literally, man, I'm gonna do everything I can possibly to try and like communicate to you how much I respect you and how much I really want to partner with you and show you like the abilities that I have, and I got some limitations too, and that's fine, right? But the thing is, there's places where, look at my bag. I just sent you my bag. Dude, your skill set and mine were like so well suited to one another. I'm out here marketing. I have a great network to push, and I love doing it to like push ideas out and to incubate them and stuff. But when it comes to some of this ideation and this associative thinking stuff, like the laboratory shit, you can actually implement some of this shit And I have another like a couple one full stack right now by Rico.eth, this guy from Denmark who's a very gifted prodigy who's got some deep dev skills and experience, deep CV, built some shit for IKEA, 3D tagging for IKEA and shit. So he might be a good part of
That's
our.
dope.
Yeah, he could connect well with us, right? You see all this shit. But look at my bag right now. I message you, dude. With your skill
Okay.
set, dude, and using like what you're talking about relaying and forwarding and squatting on for SEO and
Yeah.
shit, I've got every
Mm-hmm.
freaking derivative of NFT and blockchain and all this shit, dude. Look at
Mm-hmm.
my bag is very big
Yeah.
when it
So
comes to.
so I'm thinking like what everything that the community is building, we'll be able to use a tool from this one. Even what I sent you today about the stuff on the messaging, like okay, we could use this from this and like use all these things as tools and utilize them, and I don't know, man. We're probably creating something actually new. You know what I'm saying? My phone's about to die. I know we
Yes,
got
my
some
guy.
listeners in here.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Maybe we should wrap the
but
space. I'm gonna chat to these guys really quick and say hi to them, and then I'm gonna just kind of like maybe I'll play us out with some jams or something. You got a song request I can throw up here before I call it?
oh man, I don't know. Do your thing, man. Do your thing.
Okay, all right. Man, I'm so pumped right now. I feel like it's gonna be hard to sleep because I'm
I
imagining,
know, I
you
know.
know.
It's at least it's earlier on your end. I said to myself, I'm gonna sleep at midnight tonight. I'm like, yeah, okay, what's this message from Novax? Ah
Blame me. I deserve it. I'm sorry, but I'm really.
I got it. I took it.
It's the thing is like when you have an opportunity to really connect with someone like this who has the mindset and the ability, it's like you don't miss that, and that's how I feel about this. If it was 5 in the morning right now and I just was stirring, I would freaking be on this space just because you're here. So thank you for being
Yeah.
here, man. Thanks for
No,
chatting with me.
I appreciate you, brother.
Right on, guy. All right, cool. Well, Antashi, thank you for roaming in and hanging with us. Hope this has been enjoyable for you. Quadruple rocket, I'm just going to drop something for you, Quadruple Rocket. Quadruple Rocket is not a bad play. In my opinion, it's a cool play. However, I have ideas for you. Do you want to hear an idea before we close up the space really quick? Quadruple Rocket, I'm going to tell you, it's a dank thing to be aware of, guys. Two, and I'm going to say it again, two emoji combos. Say what? You could put next to a rocket. You put anybody who's got a skin tone zero width joiner. You could put a astronaut next to a rocket. Any color astronaut. Female blonde astronaut with her rocket. Woo! That's beautiful. And cheap to register too. Look how cheap it is to register. Go try and register it. It's 0.01. Yeah, it is. So
Yeah,
I
sounds
like
good, dude.
quadruple rocket.
I did the quadruple rockets only because it's in the it's a abnomaly. It's a pre-punk from 2017 when seven
Oh,
characters were supposed to be registered. They used the punny code in the council, which allowed four characters to be registered. So there's only 22 of these in existence. So that's why.
that's a grail. Oh, never
That's
mind,
really
dude.
dope. It's really dope.
Um,
That's what I'm
are,
talking about. That's what I'm talking about. It's about flipping the page, looking for your own little gems. That's really fresh.
dude. So the first ENS domain ever registered, Rilksler, that was lost. There's a funny story with that. But I was asking Nifty, like, what's the first true EthMoji domain that was ever registered and stuff? And it was for sale for like half an ETH the other day. I didn't have it, but it was like kissy face or heart eyes or something.
Mm.
It's actually it's a rabbit with a it's the word rabbit and then the rabbit after it, and then the actual first like sequence of actual emojis is that kissy face, and there's like I don't know 20 of them in that sequence.
So you know your shit with the EthMojis. Oh, holy shit, bro! You registered underscore. You fucking registered underscore polar bear dot eth, bro. You genius.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I've registered a ton of shit. Look at my bag. I'm down with the 2 emojis though, and you know, when flaming heart emoji popped off on the sales bot, I tell this story a lot. I was like in the bath. I have back problems. I was in the bath at like 2 a.m. I was just like, damn, oh, this hurts. I'll go on Twitter, try and feel better, have a nice, relaxing bath. What the fuck? I was just scrolling my phone. What? Flaming heart emoji, 100 ETH sale? You gotta be kidding me. And then I like immediately, I did nothing else, dude. I was just like, immediately started
I
registering
know.
Flaming Heart beer and Flaming Heart pizza and Flaming Heart video game controller. I was like, get them all. Get
Yeah,
them
no,
all.
that'll work.
That was
Yeah,
a
back
crazy day.
when they announced Unicode, you can actually register the Unicode for the future. So they'll be announcing some
No,
more
don't
Unicode in the
don't drop
next.
this. Don't drop this. Don't drop this yet. Don't say that right here. I know what you're gonna say.
Okay.
I just DM'd it to somebody.
Okay.
Have you registered any of them yet?
Yeah, I have them all.
You motherfucker! You got
And
all of
he
them.
said,
You got the
I
fucking
have them
donkey.
all.
You got the goddamn donkey.
I have all the ones that are newly registered, and then I have like the jellyfish, the cocoa beans.
You
Yeah, all those.
fucker.
Wow,
I will
that's
give you
awesome.
anything and everything. I'll trade you my whole bag for one of those single emojis, dude. I'm serious. Those are grails. Those are grails. You're a really wise guy. So you went direct to the contract and you minted those recently, and you can't see them. They'll show up as malformed, but you're sure you did them right. You got them.
Yeah. Yep. No, I have them. Yep.
So
That's
I would
so
have
dope.
tried and failed, and I would have spent the gas to do it and learned that I failed probably.
No, that's all right. I've failed multiple times before, so I actually tried to register the fire heart emoji, but instead I registered the fire or the heart and the fire with a joiner in between. So I learned from that a long time ago, and then somebody got it like a day after when I thought I had it.
How did you do it incorrectly? Because
Whoa.
you might be able to look at my bag and tell me, oh, you fucked up on these ones. Because there's a few that like with the flaming heart that don't register correctly, that don't resolve correctly on one platform or another, and then there's a few that even on the platform where other ones that I have do resolve correctly, some of them that I have don't, and I'm like, shit, these ones I must have broken with a ZWidge somehow or some way. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I can take a look. Just shoot me a DM. I'm gonna post something in the comments real quick here, but I have my girl laying next to me, so I'm gonna get to bed here pretty shortly.
yeah, I'm just gonna tell you right now, dude. Like you are my kind of people. Okay, you and me need to be homies. I'm trying to reach out to the EthMoji homies. I've been reaching out to Zombie and all. Look at my freaking James Bond. I got all the James Bonds, dude. Look at my squirt gun groom. I got all the different colors of groom with the squirt gun. Like I think they're genius. But these are fun and they're cool and we're promoting them in cool ways. Digivatar is making art for these, for the Flaming Arts. We're doing these ads like send a 0 transaction to Flaming Heart Pizza. You know, just to get advertisers thinking correctly about like how this shit will work. And what you're doing, having creatively gone to the contract, fucking minting all those, dude. I went on Emojipedia the other day because I was trying to learn about ZWidge shit. You know, I did register. That's a grail, bro. I registered the word ZWidge. That's cool, right?
Yeah, that's actually kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. I posted 2 things in the chat. Just have a look at them quick, but I gotta mute my mic because she's
You
trying to
gotta
sleep.
screw him. You gotta scoot. I'm gonna message you and try and connect up with you though. So get out of here and have a good night. But like, let's be friends. Let's hang out, man. We gotta continue this conversation tomorrow or something.
Peace.
Peace. Yeah, dude, there is no freaking way, man. Lex, you're blowing my mind over here telling me what you're telling me, and then this
Ah,
guy's.
that was what? How about that? How about that for a segue?
Did you ever think you were like winning a wrestling match, and
Hey,
then
you know,
did you?
it's the old hand wrestle trick. Like you let them think that you're winning, that they're winning, and then you pull back.
I'm all, bro. The quadruple
Yeah,
rocket,
yeah,
it's cool,
man.
bro. It's cool, but like, what about rocket next? Like, and he's just all, oh, I have all of the unreleased emojis that
Yo,
are
he just
registered
said I
correctly.
have all of them.
Oh.
He's like, hold on, babe. Let me flex real quick, and then I got you.
He's probably, I imagine he's probably like straight up like,
Yeah,
He's just
Yeah.
he's just cutting into it in the most
Yeah.
virile way. This guy's like the
Yeah,
ultimate
yeah.
stud muffin right
Yeah,
now.
and his girls look at him like,
Oh,
he's looking at
my
him like,
hero.
no, girls are more like, you're such a nerd, but whatever.
Yeah, it's like reverse beer glasses. Like I see this guy as like this like freaking jacked cut Chad, and his girlfriend sees him as this total nerd. He's probably just like an average guy.
Man, been there, been there, been there, been there.
Dude, this was
But
so much fun, dude.
it
Thank you
is,
for
man.
spending the
I
time with me.
appreciate you, n0vax, man. And yeah, let's chat tomorrow or like throughout the weekend, man. Definitely.
Oh yeah, cool. All right, catch
I'm
you
gonna go
next
through.
time.
I'm gonna go through the DMs and stuff later. Peace.
Peace. Man, my mind is exploding. I'm just gonna talk to myself for a minute, and I'm gonna try and save these pinned. Okay, good. We're good. Nothing got pinned that's gonna get lost. That's always my biggest fear. I don't want to lose anything important. Oh yeah, it was in the chat though. There we go. All right. This guy. I saw these. I saw when he was registering these. This guy's a savant, dude. Nobody does this. And on top of this, he's got all these girls and he's still doing this other stuff. Who is this guy? Quadruple rocket shit. Rocket ship. Quadruple rocket ship is a legend. That man is a legend. What the fuck? This guy has registered some stuff that makes no sense to anyone. It is transcendent. I've not seen anything like this in all my life. I'm just gonna take a deep breath. Try and post these in here. Just taking it in. Taking it all in. Quadruple rocket just kind of rocked my world a little bit. And I'm shell-shocked. I'm shell-shocked. And I don't know what to say. This guy went straight to the fucking contract. To the ENS. He went straight to the ENS registration contract. He went to the Emojipedia, the Emojipedia or whatever. He got all the info on the soon to be released emojis, which I saw that too not long ago, and I didn't know how to mint them from the contract like this guy did. So he wisely minted unreleased emojis. He minted the Unicode for emojis which have not been released, which the ENS app would prevent you from doing. And so in order to do it, you have to kind of bypass the app and just go direct to the contract and do it that way. So that's fascinating. He minted every unreleased emoji for the new emoji update for these cool shaking head, donkey, all these others. He's got them all. Quadruple rocket is a straight up legend. This guy is a king of the metaverse I've never met anyone more legendary than this guy. Pre-registering the future single emojis. That's like I just wish that I could have beat him to it, because I was literally earlier tonight. I was just sending somebody this this alpha, like, let's do this. How do we do this? Text message my friend Digivatar about this tonight. And weeks before, I had texted him about the emojis, but I didn't know how to mint contract or that it could be done. Oh, missed out on the opportunity of a lifetime. But quadruple rocket, okay, quadruple rocket. He's gonna take care of us. Quadruple rocket. He won't forget about us when he's liquidated donkey.eth for $100 million. I don't know. Jellyfish.eth's probably worth more. It's just hilarious. Who knows if they'll have any value at all. But how will I find him? This guy just popped in here. Okay, it's Luke Reitman. Luke Reitman with a W. Luke Reitman. Don't worry, we're gonna find Luke. Luke Reitman. There he is. My guy, you are a legend. Wow. That man is a legend. That's when you use that meme. That man is truly a legend. Blockchain dev. Oh, good. He's a dev. Luke Reitman, blockchain dev, NFT collector, previously after party. Membership-based community with the most innovative artists. Dang, dude. This guy's interesting. ENS domain bag holder. 5,000 followers. Top 10. Okay, his pin poster. Top 10K pre-punk club will be as comparable to the first traded NFT collections. I have a couple of those. I like 2 of those at least. Might be a year or 2. Yeah. I wish I had a first 1,000 pre-punk. I need to get one of those. Those are so cool. All right. God, this guy. Damn it. 4 hours ago he got these. You son of a bitch. He just got these right now. Oh my God. People are doing all sorts of other things. People are contract minting. Okay, these are cool. This is really interesting. Nobody, people think that people have minted this gibberish. What happens if you copy these characters and paste them like into your browser? I don't know how to like re-normalize these. Yeah, I give up. I'm gonna have to ask somebody who knows what the hell is going on with this. All right. I'm just, man, I gotta retweet this. Wow. Yo, Kev, what's up, dude? You just pop in. That's hilarious. I was actually that's one of those things that just doesn't happen very often. I was literally, well, it probably happens more than I care to admit, but I was literally talking to myself in a space, bro. A guy just rolled in here right now, and he'd fucking pre-minted all of the future emojis that are yet released on the Emojipedia. So they've released like the Unicode for the coming emojis. He contract minted them. If you try to mint those characters in, within the ENS app, it'll say like malformed or whatever. It's invalid. Won't let you do it. But if you go direct to the contract, it'll allow you to do it. So this guy's out here. And I had earlier this evening, I had just suggested the same thing to a homie, to Digivatar, my buddy and my partner on some EthMoji plays. And I was like, bro, let's get these. So I hadn't heard back from him. I was thinking about it. I don't have the capital to do it anyway. It's on my whatever. And then I have this space, and this guy comes in here boasting about this tonight. Not boasting, but just like, yeah, just flexing it. He was just like, it's like, hell yeah. I was like, do you have donkey? I was like, you got donkey.eth? He's like, yep. I was like, you got jellyfish, dude? Yep. I was like, he's like, I got them all. This guy, he got literally every single one of these unminted ones. So that's fascinating. That's number one. And then since you're here, thank you. This is funny, Kev. You're gonna get up in the morning, you do your morning show, and I'll put you to bed. I'll tuck you in for your evening show. Yeah, check out these pinned posts, Kev. You're gonna think I'm crazy, and everyone really seems to think that it's a little crazy. Like Nick Dottie, look at the very first pin, not the very first one, but the second one here. Nick earlier responded to my 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 proposal. I put a proposal in ENS style that was just like a few sentences, just like proposal draft. That was very, very, very minimal, as minimal as possible. But it's a good idea. It's just undeveloped. And so I posted it here and a link to it here, and I tagged Nick, and he's like, "I'm sorry, what?" He's like, "I can't make heads or tails of what you're proposing." So I apparently didn't do a very good job communicating it. But since then, I've talked about it with a few other people, and I've just put an image together to kind of relay the idea a little bit more succinctly. It's sort of, in order to understand what I was describing, you need to have knowledge of counterparty. You need to have knowledge of Doge Party. You need to have validated by broadcasting an alphanumeric using your desktop Bitcoin wallet. And like nobody does that shit. That's just obscure shit. So I think that's part of the reason why everyone's kind of like, what are you talking about? It's like, it's very simple. And so I'm sorry if I made it sound more complex earlier or in my posting that's linked here, but it's like, this is the simple idea, Kev. You'll get it. You will fucking get this, Kev. Throw me one emoji so I know you're still with me, Kev. Damn it. He's asleep. It's all right. Osmosis is real. I'm gonna talk. Thank you, bro. I'm gonna talk to sleeping Kev. If you fall asleep during this, it's still the same value and maybe more, because your conscious mind rejects some things about n0vax. Your conscious mind knows that I'm not that wise in the end. You could see my bags. Your conscious mind knows all my failures. But once you fall asleep and I talk to you in this space while you're sleeping, your subconscious mind will receive all the genius alpha. So, dude, this is a real shit, though, for reals. All right, so verified non-ETH addresses on ENS. Okay, that's simple enough. Verified non-ETH addresses in your ENS. What does that mean? That means you put your Bitcoin address in there. Oh, great! Kev's got his Bitcoin address in there. All right, n0vax put his Bitcoin address. Oh shit, they got the same Bitcoin address. What the fuck? Why has Kev got Robin the homie's Bitcoin address? What's up with that? Who's the real Slim Shady? So we don't really have a problem with that because we route transactions based on the ENS. It's like, here you go. That one, this goes to n0vax.eth. This one goes to Kev. Here's where this becomes really interesting. You broadcast. I put my Bitcoin address in my wallet, and then I go to my Bitcoin wallet, and so adjacent, you could see in this image I put, adjacent to the Bitcoin address would be like a 5-character alphanumeric that you can generate in the ENS record. So you just like generate a new one, refresh to generate a new one if you want, whatever. You take that one, you copy it, you paste it in your Bitcoin wallet, you broadcast that code, and ENS sniffs that address for that alphanumeric code. Boom. So ENS can now authenticate. ENS can become like the SSL layer for addresses for all crypto, like for all. So that it becomes the meta layer, the top layer. That's the thing about this, is that like now you have the ability for ENS to say, that's Kev's unverified Bitcoin address. Oh, look, it's right next to Kev's verified Dogecoin address with the green thingy. Oh, that means, or whatever, however color it's maybe it's a blue thing, like more intuitive with the design already of ENS. But if it's whatever color it is, it's like the verified. It's a check mark. It means that you took the specific action from that non-ETH wallet to confirm that ENS domain is yours, that you are the person who controls the Bitcoin wallet and the ENS domain. And therefore, you can have a verified Bitcoin on your ENS. You can have a verified Dogecoin wallet on your ENS, and so on and so forth. Litecoin, all of them. Why do you want that? This is really interesting. The use cases are almost endless, but like so much that it's hella hard to think of like a specific one, dude. But you could see this. Like, think of it now. Think of it. Why do you want to verify that that's your Bitcoin address on your ENS record? Can you potentially use it as identity now? Can you potentially transact, in a Web3 way using some of these other addresses? And the answer is sort of yes, but in a limited way. And then also there's risk problems. Like if you verify these other addresses and then you change the ENS to somebody else, then they'll be like, now they're verified as your address. So you have to build in a fuse. So if anyone changes that shit, later, Kev. So if anyone changes that Bitcoin, or the registrant or the controller, if either the registrant or the controller are changed, then the verification system has to reset. All verified non-ETH addresses on the ENS record would need to return to a non-verified state anytime the registrant or the controller is updated. Finding the language for it. Still finding the language for it. I think Kev he threw a couple of emojis that indicated I think he understood. We're just gonna go with that last peace emoji. I think was him saying that he totally understood and that he fully supports the idea. We're gonna go with that. I got a certain vibe from that peace emoji that seemed to indicate that. So cool. Well, thanks for hanging out. WSSP, appreciate you listening to my rantings over here. I've been going for a minute and had a kind of few epiphanies in the last. One of them with the unregistered emojis, and the other one with this verification of non-ETH addresses on the ENS record. I think we're about to stumble into a little building season on some of these. That'll be fun. All right, catch you guys later. I'm gonna actually, you know what? It doesn't even feel right. I'm just gonna play a little bit of music. I can't into space. Oh shoot, I can't. I'm straight out of batteries. All right, and I'm not singing at this hour, so I'll catch you later. Have a good one, everyone. See you, Wasp.